Cy Brenner, born June 2nd, 1922, is an American ex-POW from World War II who has suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder since 1945. He has major concerns for the soldiers of today not receiving appropriate care for post-traumatic stress disorder. How do you see post-traumatic stress disorder affecting the soldiers of today?
Well, I think I object to their being sent back for many tours of duty and the stress that's put on them and their families. I think they are becoming a lost generation. Tom Brokaw once said, "We had a great generation during World War II." And I'm calling this the lost generation because too many of them have suicidal effects and they suffer from post-traumatic stress, and I don't think they're getting the care or even the effort to help them as much as they should be getting.
Have you seen this coming out with how they, when they come back, with how it affects with their lives with their spouses and their children?
Well, I keep hearing about them. I had a long talk with Representative Robert Filner, who was the chairman of the Veterans Affairs Committee, and he asked me how many days it took for me to come back from World War II in 1945, and I said 13 days. And he said, here we have men coming back in one day and the next day slapping their child.
How does post-traumatic stress still affect you today?
It affects me because I have especially 4 incidents that keep coming back to me that happened to me while I was a prisoner of war in a prison hospital.
How are these coming back to you? What form?
They're coming back to me in nightmares and in flashbacks. I was once locked in a room no larger than a walk-in closet with a corpse for 3 days. I was forced to do amputations, which I didn't have the proper equipment, and I was in charge of the bandaging and surgery of wounded prisoners, of all of our allies in Lazaret 5A. Lazaret was a prison hospital within Stalag 5A. The first day the Germans put me in charge of the surgery, I had to amputate a large toe, which the man had gangrene. I keep saying I didn't have the proper equipment to do it. I amputated his toe with something that looked like a tree clipper. And it was a steel clipper, but it was just like a tree clipper. That's all I had. And we had to use toilet paper and cotton batting and a disinfectant. We didn't have any sulfa, or we didn't have any ether. We had what we called a bite stick. We said, bite on this, and then we did it. And the man was in excruciating pain. I keep worrying about these things, and I keep thinking of them time after time. And I'm affected by these people. I keep thinking about how I affected their lives since 1945.
And you see that this is part of your concern for the men and the ladies coming back today.
Yes. They are being sent back one tour after another. They not only suffer, but their families and children suffer. And I think this is going to have a great effect on the young people of today. I was very impressed with Tom Brokaw's calling us the greatest generation. I call this the lost generation.
You have a bucket list of things.
Yes.
And on your bucket list, if you could speak to anyone about any of your concerns in regards to post-traumatic stress disorder, you've mentioned Tom Brokaw a few times here. Would he be somebody of interest to you?
Yes, I would love to talk to Tom Brokaw. I would like to have him listen to what I went through and compare it with the people of today. I talk to veterans of World War II. I belong to a group of support veterans. We support each other, and we talk of our experiences, and this helps us. This is happening so fast today. I feel very bad about what's happening to these people and their families.
Thank you very much for sharing your viewpoints. What we'd like to do is put this on YouTube and ask anyone who sees it if they have any connections to Tom Brokaw to help Cy Brenner on his bucket list and have an introduction to Tom Brokaw and possibly speak with him. You may also all look at www.cybrenner.com for more information, and that's spelled SYBRENNER, cybrenner.com. Thank you very much for sharing your experiences with us.
You're welcome.